Welcome to NMP Talk Show, the show that keeps you informed and engaged with topics about mental health, wellness. And today we're talking about sustainable living. Um, we're going to indulge on this topic, see the benefits that we can have when we follow a sustainable living and what actually is sustainable living. So we're going to be touching on environmental things, economic, social aspects of our lives. So it's going to be a fun show today. It's a bit different to the normal shows that we have, but like any other thing that we do in life, it affects your mental health. So you need to know where you stand so that you know you are able to enjoy life. So with me on the show, which is our guest, is a living coach, and he'll explain why he says he's a living coach. His name is Senzo Madiba. Senzo, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ineo. Thank you for welcoming me to the show and greetings to all your viewers. Uh,
Awesome.
yes, basically, I'm a SME growth business advisor and coach. And
Yeah.
for the past few years, I've emerged my role to sustainable living coach because it's the same methodologies or principles where people have to do some transformation and make a few changes in how they do things. And that is why now we are a sustainable coach, helping them to achieve that.
Nice. I think the word also gives itself up, eh? Sustainable. You know, when we buy things, we want them to sustain ourselves, and you don't want to buy what they call Hong Kong things that don't even last.
Yeah.
So stability is very important there, and hence our decisions should be very carefully made. In that, when you decide on embarking on a project or on changing your lifestyle, that has to be sustainable. And thank you that we have you on the show to lead us on how we can do to achieve that. Now, our topic, as advertised, is sustainable living. A path to a greener future. What is that? How would you introduce that topic to the audience?
Thank you very much. So basically, after COVID-19 happened, many of us started
Mm.
to review and reanalyze how we're living. And
Yeah,
we were doing that in our way we do our businesses and then also how we do it at homes. We had to overlook, we have a lot of choices, we have a lot of wants. And the important things are not our wants, it's our needs. So because of that, we have to start looking at how we can have a sustainable life and look at best practices for sustainability. So looking at the environment, how can you have a simple life? That's one of the most important movements that we're trying to drive across to our listeners and to our audience. So basically, it's all about just living a simple life and just moving away from a life where everything is being pushed to a certain way and thinking in a different way. It either could be your way you save things, as we mentioned. It could also be either your home, even the way you operate at work. If you're running a business and so forth, we think of lean management and all those kind of factors. That's also one ways that we can be sustainable in what we do to take care of it.
that's a beautiful way of explaining it. So let's dig in deeper into the subject there. There are benefits. Some of them you just mentioned, but from our discussion before the show, you mentioned that you have about 10 benefits in sustainable living. What are those benefits? Maybe we can, indulge in them and speak further on.
All right. So there's quite a lot, but obviously all of
Yeah.
them they can get very specific depending on
Yeah.
the role that you are taking. It can be, for me as a coach, it's more general, but obviously it
Yeah.
can specialize. You're looking at things such as our buildings, how they are
Yeah.
structured, are they designed to be sustainable? Now, remember, many years back, we are forced now to live in certain communities because of perhaps our spending, how we have in our pocket, and now we can live in the certain area. Not because we have looked at it as sustainable or not. It's because our pocket allows us, the food we eat, you know. There's so many factors that we find ourselves in those situations. But even the car we drive, you know, do we really have to drive it all the time, or we can actually carpool? Those are the questions that now we are considering. The food we're eating, do we have to have so much of that food in the fridge, or we just need so much? So these are the questions now. We're taking it from the bottom upwards. So it's sustainability is a very wide, um,
Mm, mm,
complicated or um, industry, but we can just start about living, how we are living, and that's what I want us to focus on today.
yeah, yeah. You're talking about carpooling. I mean, you know how things are going now. You want your own freedom, and carpooling does not necessarily give you that freedom. And hence you see, especially in the time of payday, there's a lot of traffic because now everyone has got money to fill up their tanks and their freedom thereof. So uh, it's a mind shift that you're talking about.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
is that is that what you purport into?
Absolutely. You got it. You hit it spot on, Neo. It's all
Yeah.
about the mind shift and transforming. Just to understand, why do I really need this? Or
Mm,
did I just, because I can have it? I want it because the whole world wants it. But what is it there for me? Is it sustainable for me? What happens, you know,
yeah.
as I mentioned earlier on, I talked about COVID-19. They started questioning us. We started thinking, how much does it cost me to live? As a
Yeah.
human being, how much does it cost for me to do my haircut, to my dressing and grooming? Does it cost me? For some people, it costs them 10,000 rand a month.
Mm,
Some it costs them 50. They're very proud of that. But is that sustainable if certain things move out the way? We're not saying that people must stop thinking small, or they must be just be content. They just need to understand that, are they living within their needs, and is it sustainable? If they're to move, if things have to shift and change, will they be able to
mm.
transform with the changes that we are facing at the time?
Now you're talking about something very interesting there. If your circumstances were to change, would you still be able to live the way you lived?
Mm.
That is sustainability that you're talking
Yeah,
about, eh? And
100%.
and to add on that, I think most of us, even our audience that are connected, and also welcome you audience that are connected on Telegram and also on Riverside. We also have audience that are streaming or connecting on YouTube. So if you do have any questions, please type your questions there on YouTube, and we'll be able to see them. And raise your hand when you're on Telegram, and send a chat when you're on Riverside. Now we're talking about COVID, and what I've learned from COVID is we don't need a lot of things to survive. COVID has taught us that scaling down is actually giving us a peace of mind because we don't have all these clutter, in our lives that to take care of, to work harder for, you know, and neglect the most important things like family relationship, the comfort of being at your home. I was chatting with my wife the other day. It's so unfortunate that all these beautiful houses that we see, the owners are not there, but you have the maids that are taking care of those owners. The people that are cleaning their gardens. They're the ones who lives in those houses. But the owner who pays for it, who built it, is not there. Only comes few hours from work, and they only have few hours to sleep. So how life has conditioned us really has made us think that having all of these things is a proper way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
with COVID, I've learned something totally different. I
Yeah.
don't know. Don't you agree with me, eh?
You're absolutely correct there. You know, what did we discuss as well? One of the value propositions we have a business called mzini.co.za. That business,
Mhm.
we are providing affordable homes through container conversions, but we obviously expanding our range into different types of ways that can give minimalistic or tiny homes. So
Mhm.
basically, what we've realized is that many people aspire to things that are not really practical. For example, if you look
Mm.
at a person who just finished matriculated, he maybe gets a skill somewhere, and then he finds work. He finds work, perhaps let's say in Johannesburg. He's from Johannesburg, but after 2 years, he's moving to Cape Town because there's no jobs right now who can give you 25 years. Like how our parents used to get a watch after 25 years, a silver
Oh
watch,
yeah,
let's say, of service.
yeah.
It's just not practical. It's 2 year contract. No one is willing to hire you forever. And then you're moving on to Cape Town. So do you still need a big house? Or do you
Mm.
need something that's going to be portable? Or something that you can build modular and extend depending on your needs? Are you living a minimalistic life? When we say minimalistic, we're not saying you're living on small sofas and small TV. We're not saying that. We're saying that you're living comfortable, but only on what you need.
Mm.
When you have people over, you might want to have them outside and have something to eat, or maybe you want to have something lunch outside at a restaurant. So do you
Mm.
really, really need this big lounge to show
Mm.
them that's what you have? And half the time, you want to travel. You want to be free from something that you don't want to be tied down to a bond. So this is the
Yeah.
kind of conversations that we are having now with our clients right now. That are they really looking to that? Can they make an analysis and see if does this is assessment, is this something that they really require? What can we recommend?
Very interesting. Um, I've seen some of the businesses out there. They also, you know, have gravitated towards the containers, transforming containers. I used to live in Midrand for a number of years, I think about 10 years, and I've seen one location that was totally transformed into a container site, and it was, I think it was a pub, and it was so beautiful because when they started and they had those containers. What came to my mind was, what are they trying to do? But the after design of it, it was so beautiful, and I instantly fell in love with containers. And you might have seen on our, I'm talking now to the guests, I mean the audience. You'd have seen our post. We have a container that has been transformed into a nice beautiful home, and it's something that myself, I can't talk about in anyone other else, any other person. I would love to have a container like that.
Yeah,
And to add on to what I want to do, you just mentioned you're moving from here, Joe, back to Cape Town because of work and all of that. You can take your house with.
yeah,
How beautiful is that?
exactly. So one of the
Right.
challenges we as you're saying that we
Yeah.
obviously right now we the banks don't want us to go this way, but we are trying to build a case with them where they can
Yeah.
allow us to. We say to, by the way, we have a say that if you can afford a polo, if you can afford a polo,
Mm,
you can own a
mm.
structure, you can own a portable home. So
Wow.
our setup is almost as similar as caravan homes, where people come in caravan homes. So you can move to a site that is designed, and
Mm,
that's what we're trying to build here, a site that is
mm.
designed for your living, where you can have your plumbing done and you can also connect with electricity if that is needed. But we also moving away from that because what we're experiencing in South Africa with the electricity crisis. So we want to go
Yeah.
to off grid, which obviously is backup energy, because many people say this is really 100 is really 100% backup off
Yeah.
grid. But we want to create communities which are actually off grid and are sustainable using Jojo tanks and so forth. So in each and every area. So here, KZN, Joburg. So you can move around with your portable caravan, pay maybe a levy to say, you know what, I'm using this area here. I've got my container, I
Mm.
own my structure. Or maybe my
Yeah.
structure, I'm not using it. I'm moving away for a bit. Let me use it as a B&B, Airbnb. Let me rent it out to someone else at a small fee. So we're saying to say, don't be tied down, and
Mm.
don't be tied down. Live. If you want to travel, you've bought this item, it's yours. You can lock it up. You know, I had a couple. It was actually a lady. She said she wants to buy the house, so that it was quite a sad one. But she said that she wants to buy the container, and then one day his boyfriend will come from work and see the house is gone. He wants to migrate, move with it. So I mean, we have the freedom to do whatever you want. We're saying to you, if you can own, if you can pay, and that's what we're trying to build as a case. If you can own Apollo, you
Yeah.
can own
Yeah.
a structure, not rent. You can own it and move around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We do have a question there on Riverside from Caitlin. Caitlin, welcome and thank you for your question there. She says, if you were to build a house or convert it into a more sustainable, what is the cost-effective way to either build or change it?
Oh, all right. Mm. So definitely, Caitlin. Thank you for that kind of question. I'm gonna go ahead and explain it. So basically, planning, and that's the first part. We want to make a bit of an audit and assess where our needs are, if we want to build a house. So sometimes you just need the basic necessities. The basic necessities is a place for you to, if you don't have kids, and perhaps you're just a couple or a single person, you need a bed, you need a bedroom. Sorry, you need a bedroom. You need a small little bathroom area with a toilet and then a kitchenette. That enough
Mm.
is a 6 meter. Okay. So what we do, we're offering a 6 meter with that inclusive at this point, because we obviously wanting to scale up at 180,000 rand, 180 to 190,000 rand. You can have your own structure. All right.
Hold on,
Then,
hold on, hold on,
sorry.
hold on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So with 180K,
Mm-hmm.
what do you
180.
have?
You're having a 6 meter
Yeah,
with obviously insulated inside,
yeah.
sliding doors. You're
Hmm.
having obviously it's going to be it's an open area. The only thing that is
Yeah,
not in an open area is your bathroom and your toilet.
yeah.
And then within that, you have your kitchenette and sliding doors, windows for just 180 to 190,000 rand. That's including that. So you can own it. That's
Wow.
why I say if you own a, you can if you own a Apollo, you can actually own a structure, a container.
Guys, here's a business opportunity right there, right there. Caitlin, I think, no, let me not say I think. Is your question being answered? While you write your answer there, we do have another question on Telegram. Says Kathy, please unmute yourself and welcome to NMP Talk Show.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
Thank you for the show. Actually, I just need to find out converting the 12 meter. Actually, the other ways I need a quote, you know, just a brief estimation where the 12 meter you convert it into a clinic. This question is for you.
Awesome. Let me give you, Senzo, let me give you a background. Sister Kathy owns a clinic, two clinics in Kagiso, and Sister Kathy, where's the other one, by the way? Motlhakeng. Yeah, Randfontein. So I've been to her clinic. They are also containers that have been converted. So I think the question emanates from there, that how do you what are the costs, in converting one to a clinic? I don't know if you can give the price now, or you would like to engage with her later on for the specifics, maybe,
Yeah.
on how to go about it.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Kathy. Is it Kathy? Eh?
Yes.
Very good question. So, Kathy, obviously, we have to go through an estimate, and that is very important for us to go through that process. For a 12 meter, Okay, we're just talking now for residential. Obviously, for business premises, there will be certain factors that you want to take into consideration. There's specific technical, and if it's a clinic, the different lighting you're using and so forth. But one of the biggest things that we do, just to keep in mind, is that the insulation must be done well. And if it's a clinic, the cladding, the covering it, no one must see it's a container. So we do that as well. We call that cladding and the insulation. The insulation, basically, you'll be surprised that this place is a container, but you will not see if it's a container or not. So the idea is that it's all about the design part, getting exactly what you want. But let me just give you an idea and you can start figuring it out. For a 12 meter for residential, not for business, which I know I'm going a little bit out because a business will need more specifics involved. A 12 meter, we can take two beds, and one bathroom and toilet, and one kitchenette. It could be a little bit longer, but we're looking at that. That is about 280 to 90. 280 to 90, including VAT. So you could have that, and then you can, what we call modular home, you can extend it as we go. Now, you don't need bedrooms for a kitchen. Maybe it's beds and heads. Maybe you need it for beds and heads. You can have it from the bottom to the top, meaning first floor and so forth, and you can add it on. All we need for your situation is the premises, and then of course you need to give us the go ahead with the design, and we can have a look at it. We have an in-house design team that helps us with that. And then, you go through our assessment. We'll give you a link. It goes through our Google WordPress, and then you can go ahead and ask questions about what you want and how exactly you want it to look like, and then we can follow up with that. But remember, the only challenge we have right now, and it has been a big turnoff, but we are busy with the banks, is that it's a cash business. Because right now, the banks are not really reluctant they want to only support brick and mortar and bonded buildings. They don't want you to have affordability. They don't want you to move around. They don't want you to be sustainable. They want you to just to be stuck in Midrand, stuck in this place for 10 years or 20 years. They don't want you to say, hey, I'm locking my place. I'm going to China. I'm going to Saudi Arabia. They don't want you to do that. So we are having that kind of conversation right now. But we want to have hundreds and hundreds of people who are to get our link. And then because volume speaks to banks. Banks want to know how many people are interested, and then they can develop and get into that sustainable lifestyle.
Sister Kathy, are you answered there? Obviously, after the show, we can also hook you up with the two of you, and you can take the business further, or the discussion further.
Yeah.
We also have another question on Riverside from Bernardine. Bernardine says, does these containers come ready-made, or do you discuss it first? But from what I've heard, that you have to design it, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have to go through the process. Also we have to get availability depending on the project we're doing. It's quite first we do a selection. Remember, the containers have a lifespan of 20 to 25 years, up to 30 years, depending on maintenance that's done on a container. So within that framework, we need to know, what do you want? Do you want it to have beds and heads? So beds and heads is a word that they use in hospitality to have more room for people to sleep. So that will be a 12 meter, 2 meter. We can discuss that. Or you want to start small with a 6 meter and add another unit, and so forth. So we really have to go through the estimate. We can't just say, hey, you know what, you're looking for a container, and stop thumb sucking it and say, hey, you have to pay this amount of money. We need to go through the process. But we allow you, with our link, to go through our assessment questionnaire, and then we discover exactly what you're looking for. And once we've started, it goes through. We have a lawyer. We basically go, since it's a cash business, it goes through our lawyer, which does the trust. Basically, the money goes to the trust, and then we request. Then he requests us whatever amount, so we can do the building. And once everything is fully, then we hand over to you the container. It's actually quite an interesting process, because first of all, we have to also know where you're delivering the container. We help you through that. We work with also with third party people, such as the trucking people. You know, remember, if it's a 12 meter, you need a crane. If it's a 6 meter, you need a certain type of truck to be able to deliver it. We need to know the place you're delivering it. So you might
Mm,
like it, but you might not qualify because you might not even have the place to put the container. So we want to establish all those things, not just rush in to say, hey, you know what, you're interested, buy, 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 buy. We want to make sure that it makes, and also we're very we like to put it in a place where it's gonna advertise to people to say, hey, you know what, you're living the sustainable lifestyle. We want to be close to trees and so forth. But if you want to be in a concrete jungle, then make it green as much as possible, so that
mm,
it looks appealing and people it is possible, and people are living this kind of lifestyle right now.
awesome. Um, I don't know if Benedine is thinking the same thing that I'm thinking now. Um, yes, I have this idea of a container that I want the design, and we agree upon it. Do you build it there and then you bring it done, or you come to site as a container and then you start working on it?
Yes, so we build it at our factory,
Okay.
at our site,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
once and we install everything there. We actually running away
Oh,
right now. Those in construction industry, they do understand that it comes with a lot of challenges when you are working on site. There's some
yeah.
there's people, I don't know, they call them zamazamas or some sort of people who actually
Mm,
don't want you to build on site. So with the building that we're doing, it's called dry construction. So
okay.
we do all the workmanship at our own site, and then we just 1 day or 2 days we do the installation on your site. So that's how it is. But we keep you updated with the progress, and you see basically where you stand and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's another follow-up question from Caitlin. She says, "Do you need special permission from the municipality, etc., to move those containers or to put them down, or can one simply buy a mortar stand and then put a container on?" You have me on my mind, on your mind, Caitlin.
Yeah. So Caitlin, very good question once again. Um,
Mm,
right now, the government, they work with the banks. They at certain areas they want permits, and that's what we want to establish also with the with our link, our questionnaire discovery link. So what we say, we've tried to work around it. When they say they don't want containers, we show them the final look, and we
yeah.
ask them, can they see the container, because we put what we call cladding. So
Mm,
you guys are more than welcome to go to our Instagram and go to mzini.co.za. Mzini.co.za, you'll see some of the designs there, see some of the work we've done. And you see that if you have that problem, obviously it will be at additional cost. More cladding you put in. If you have that situation where the permit, they want a certain permit for, they say they want containers, we say, okay, fine. Let's show you how it's going to look like. Is
mm.
it still wrong? Because it looks exactly like a brick and mortar house. So, but what we need to keep in mind from that price range that I told you, the more you add in optional items, for example, you want to put aircon, you want to put solar system kit. These are additional options which were done by third party experts. So we add them on from the fee, and then delivery. You don't stay here in Gauteng. You stay in a place in Bora Bora. So all this far away, that means you will not pay the same price as a person who stays in a certain area from our factory.
No.
All these are factors that you need to keep in mind, but it is possible. Let's start by saying, yes, I love this. I want to be part of this movement. I want to own a structure. And then we will take it further as the more we build on this sustainable living movement.
All right. I hope that is answered. Zoda, welcome as well. Benadine, I didn't welcome. I apologize. Welcome to the show, and thanks for your comments. We really enjoy them. Zoda is now posting harsh weather conditions due to global warming make sustainable container living an ideal one. I think Japan has made a big shift in container housing.
Thank you. That I mean, what more can we say? Um,
Exactly.
a container is very very robust, very strong. Remember, it stays in the sea, and they design it in a way that those items or fragile items, they are protected. A container might look very thin and limp, but the thickness of the
Mm,
steel that they're using is very thick. In fact, we often, when we put our insulation and so on, we take that into account. And
okay.
it is the most robust, it's very strong, and you can maintain it in terms of preventative maintenance and to keep it very long, a longer period. So it's a
Mm,
wonderful a solution to have. Obviously, we're going to open up different ranges. There's more coming in where people can do different ways of tiny homes or minimalistic homes, box homes. We are open to that because we want to grow into this industry and build communities that are flexible in moving, and also they want to make sure that their items are safe inside, because that's what people want to have homes. They want to make sure that they feel secured and safe, and obviously the standard is strong enough, more than a brick and mortar house where sometimes you have to use different associations to make sure that you get the quality.
awesome. So I run a studio, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things that I'm really concerned about is external noises. And yes, you can get away with that, by cleaning nicely. Um, but what about when you're inside, the footsteps, when you
Mm,
walk,
mm.
when you stamp your feet? Does it send an echo, or do you have a cement on it?
Yeah.
How does it? How do you plan that?
Yeah, so being in the studio, so we've had different clients,
Mm,
and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But just to on your question, you need a sound engineer specialist in that kind of
mhm,
your facet, because there's
mm,
acoustics involved. There's different factors
yeah.
that you want to take into consideration. But what I could say to you, I worked in an organization a few years back, and we had studios that were made out of containers. We built those studios. I was part of that, and hence that's why I'm busy now with this container conversion movement, and it was successful. And
Mm,
yeah, so any industry. Kathy mentioned about the hospital. Let's talk. Um, Audiovisual industry. Let's talk. We have right now. If you can go to our socials, we have a man, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Shabalala. He works for a company called SG Shabalala Agri Consulting. He's an agriculture, is an agri consulting specialist. So with everything that involves farming, he does it. So we have a joint partnership with him where we work in association with him. He is involved in helping us to do like chicken poultry, and so now people don't have to, even urban living, they can now have containers there for farming, and also what you call pigs, piggery. Yeah. So what he does, he orders from us and then he installs the technical side, where for agriculture, the lighting and all these things that are required, the cages that are used for farming, for chicken with eggs and so forth. I told him, we came up with our idea with my partner, because I have a partner by the name of Lungsani Dlamini. And he said, no, I don't want it that way. So the same thing with
mm,
your industry. We'll have someone who's going to say that to us, where we've partnered with him. He says,
mhm,
no, I want it. Please take it as my, because we are worried about cleanliness. He says, no, when it comes to farming chickens, you need the chicken, the chick dough, or what, the poo, whatever they're using for certain elements. And I said, okay, but we are partner in association with these specialists.
okay.
So now, when it comes to medical, we'll partner with a designer or decorator, or sorry, a designer that is a specialist who will give us exactly what a medical person will need in a field.
Okay. All right. No, it does make sense. And see, I apologize that I think I, you know, um, asked this question, but you asking it better. He says there, and welcome, Klebisi. How can I ensure the proper setup of a container house, including foundation and land leveling? Additionally, what steps are involved in connecting to the municipality electric and water grid?
Sorry, I lost you a little bit, but let me just try and reiterate the question.
Yeah.
Tabisi wanted to
So
know
he's
that
asking about,
how does
hmm?
it? Oh, sorry, is he still
He's
talking?
asking about the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
leveling of the land when you
Mm-hmm.
put the container.
Yeah.
What is the proper setup on that? And the second
Yes.
question is connecting your municipality um, electricity and water grid.
Okay. So when it comes to the leveling of it, that will require, in our assessment and the discovery, we'll need to do a surveying, number one, because we want to make
Mm,
sure it's level, your area is level. We are container conversion experts. We are not
mm,
geotechnical. We work with, we're in association with them. They will do their part and
mm,
within our requirement. And then when it comes to certain things with the municipality, the permit, I think we discussed it earlier on, we'll have to check what's the requirements. But we've had a lot of engagement with architects. They tell us that, once you do the cladding and you've covered it, what else can they say? Do you mean that they have to
mm,
come in your house and double check what's and so forth? Not really. And then remember, it's also portable. In an
mm.
event that you need to remove it, you can remove it. So it comes with that ability of portableness. So, but I hope there was a bit of a unstable network. But all I could say to you, you have the flexibility, and then obviously we want to do it right the first time. We're not saying
Mm.
you're going to be moving all the time, but we want to say to you, um, take the time. We're not in a rush. We're not selling like estate agents, selling houses, location. No, we want you to be part of the sustainable movement, and you need to make sure that it makes sense, logical sense to your living lifestyle.
Nice. Nice. If you do have further questions, please go ahead and raise your hand on Telegram. And Riverside, we're getting engagement there. Thank you. Keep them coming. When I check on YouTube, we still, yeah, okay. We'll get to YouTube when they send the questions. I want to go back to the question that I asked you. I'm not sure if I was happy with the answer. You did your best. I'm really worried about the noise,
Uh,
right? And we see here also asking about the foundation.
yeah.
So when you build a house, you have your foundation, and then you take it from the ground upwards.
Yeah.
So do you have a concrete slab
Hmm.
first and then the
Hmm.
container on top of it, or
Hmm.
you have the container standing on poles,
Hmm.
something
Yeah.
like
So
that?
we have what you call, when it comes to the foundation, we have either an easy method called the blocks. So these blocks, you can get them in any mica or someone. It's just concrete
Mm.
blocks that can
Okay.
withhold the heaviness and the weight of a container forever.
Okay.
Basically, it's concrete blocks that is being manufactured to withhold the heaviness. And then we have what we call, now you need a
All
technical
right. I
person
think we
to
lost.
help you with that. Stilts. You can have it on stilts, which is the same thing, blocks, but longer. And that will have to be, before that has to be done. It just makes sense. But some people are very confident to say, this place is level, it's fine, and they can work it out. And yes, some areas are level. They are friendly to just put a container. There's some areas where it's a soccer field and they just want a container where they will change and do everything. The place is already done. Maybe it's already paved. Why do you have to go to they know it's straight, so just put the stilts and put the blocks, and then you go. But then when you want to put a foundation,
Yeah.
now you need to just think a little bit more there, where you're putting it, and especially for situations like where there's a clinic, what Kathy is. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Unless Kathy knows he's got a 5-year contract in that area, but it makes sense to have your foundation, and then it's more sustainable that way. Now, when it comes to the
Nice.
second question about the noise,
Mm.
we are very conscious of our insulation process.
Mhm.
There
Mm.
might be more added insulation methods that need to be applied for a sound area such as yours, a studio.
Yeah.
There are studios right now, Neo, that are made out of containers. For a studio, you need just a small room. You don't
Yeah.
need a
Yeah.
big, massive place. So I know for a fact that there are, and we've never done one. Also, I've done one actually before. I told you I did it when I was a non-profit, a volunteer,
Yeah.
in many years back. But now we can do the very same thing. If you want to see it, we can take you through it. But the most importantly, now we are not experts when it comes to the noise, checking the assessment of sort. Then it will be good to extend a person who's a specialist who can
Mhm.
guarantee that you're gonna get the value that you're looking for. We call it return on investment, making sure you get exactly what you're looking for.
Awesome. Awesome. Now you have answered my question. Thank you so much. Home insurance.
Yeah,
We insure our homes, everything inside our house. Have the insurance companies bought into this sustainable
yeah.
living?
Mm. So the insurance companies, they can show content, right? They can show content
Mm,
inside. Insurance companies work same like banks. They say work same like the banks. They're the same. They use the same systems, and so forth. So that's what we're trying to do right now with our case. That's why we want to have as many people. Even if you're not gonna buy a house, the container conversion. Even if you're not gonna get it
mm,
now, you're just dreaming.
mm,
You're just saying, I like it, man. Like, I like to have like I don't know if Benedine mentioned something like that. He says, I want to have a certain look. Please go through the link and tell us, because that will be the
mm,
data that's gonna speak to us, and then we'll call you. We'll call you and say, hey, the banks are now allowing us to buy these homes on credit. Are you willing to order it? Because right now in South Africa, no one, it's a cash business. We have people who said, oh man, they've
mm.
seen the design, we've done everything with them, but they cannot go forward because they don't have the amount of cash on
Yeah.
hand. But they
Yeah.
want this. So we're saying to them, go through our link, and then insurance will definitely, if the bank is putting it, the insurance will go through as well. But right now, you can insure your content because it's a structured building, it's closed, there's no rain or something, but we cannot, they don't insure the structure, they'll insure your content. Until we go through a few processes, which we are still going through them, we will be able to go forward with insuring the whole building.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now that does make sense. All right. Let's change gears a little bit there. Let's talk about the benefits of this sustainable living. And one of the things we talk about environment,
Mm.
environmental protection, economic savings, and a healthier lifestyle. Can we elaborate on that while we're waiting for some of the questions? Let's start with environmental protection.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, the environment, you're using a structure that is no longer at use. Basically, it used to be a container, and now you're using it for as a home, as a residential use, or for your business. So now already you are what you're calling you are recycling in a way, or you are part of um, you are managing something that was going to be almost like a waste. But obviously, it comes at a fee because it's heavy and there's a standard in it. So that's one thing as well. Also, you're living a minimalistic life. You are moving. We have people who are wanting to sell they're planning right now, they're in our network. They are planning to sell their home. They're
Mm,
saying they're going to sell their home and move into a container. And
mm,
then when they move into a container, they want to travel. They want to lock their container, or when they're traveling to 3 months in Greece or whatever, they're going to lock their container, or they're going to put it in Airbnb.
mm,
That are the kind of conversations we're having. So the environment, and then where we place our containers, we like to encourage this. That's why we want to start it's a network. What we're doing, we want people to start planting trees. I stay here in Mtunzini, wonderful place. There's trees here, indigenous trees.
yeah.
The community here said they didn't want. They actually got some exotic trees as well. It's beautiful because
Mm,
nature, you wake up, there's birds, there's everything. You want to be in an environment like that. We want to create those kind of environments for our residents to be part of that, where we just take an area and then they can plug in their container and live amongst uh, nature. So the environment is also, and then obviously there's a certain lifestyle that you obviously as a coach, I try and enforce and allow you to be accountable for. And that's the lifestyle of just being conscious that, your waste, your, even when you're building, you have to be conscious of nature. And that's where we've blended our affordable homes, our sustainable living with the environment. We are big in environment. We are big in making sure that these two merge together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Before we go further, Retabile says there, you have an option there of a chat. If you
Okay.
can click on that, you can see the questions that I'm asking you. She
Oh,
says, are your containers brand new from manufacturing or are they used ones from shipping companies?
thank you very much, Ritabile. Good question. So containers come in two standards. There's actually three, but we work on two only. There's an A grade. The A grade is literally a brand new container. Not been used for, it was purely just used for, it hasn't been used. Because the B grade, then we find out what the container was used for. That's part of our assessment. And that container is still in best condition. Then we have a C grade, which we don't even give to our customers. We don't work with that one. So the B grade is just sufficient because it's a container that has been used and now re-transformed for living conditions. So
Does
then
it,
we buy
does
them.
it affect, yeah, does it affect the price? I mean, you're talking about 180K
Yeah.
for a 6 meter.
If, if you want an A grade container, we're
Yeah,
not going to stop
yeah,
you. You're welcome to get it. It'll be an additional cost. And
okay.
that's what our selling proposition, we say to our customers. We say to you, Neo, you're going to take me out for coffee. And the cup of coffee you buy, it's 30 rands. Then I say, thank you, Neo. Thank you for giving me this cup of coffee. I want almond milk. I want
All
cream.
right.
I want.
Sorry, Senzo, we lost you for a bit there.
Okay, sorry. So
We lost you
basically,
from yeah.
when it comes to the price, we say, for
Yeah.
example, I don't know if you got this part. Let's say, for example, you take me out for coffee, and the cup of coffee is 30 rands, and I
Mm,
say to you, thank you, Neo, for giving me this coffee for 30 rands.
mm,
But I don't want this only. I want cream. I want almond
mm.
milk. I want honey. I want a piece of cake. So now, do you think that my cup of coffee will be the same as the 30 Rand one? So we tell our customers to keep that in mind whenever they want special packages, they want additional options. So we have a
Yeah.
system where it allows you. So now, that kind of coffee you offered me is now 130 Rands because you wanted to add a different type of bathroom, a different type of kitchen, a different type of solar energy, not the 5 kilowatts, maybe you want 8 kilowatts because you want to have it more as more backup power. We take into that in consideration. But we say to you, what do you need? We always start from that. What do you need? And if you need something
Okay.
mega, you must be prepared to pay additional optional cost.
Right. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Did you hear me? Sorry, hey, the network is unstable a bit, hey,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. But we got the most of the comment there.
Mhm.
And thank you for that. Fanelo says there, how stable is the structure in all weather conditions? We've had a few disastrous weather conditions, temperature control, variation, cold, hot, wind, and it's ever changing.
Yeah. So the containers are designed to deal with those kind of conditions. You can imagine at sea. Remember, we had something here in KZN where there at the south coast, there was a water flooding and the containers were moving from their normal area.
Hmm.
So the containers move. They move. So they are very durable. They are very strong. I, if I had wanted a house, I would definitely trust a container than a brick and mortar because then you need to find out that builder has the right cement the right building conditions and so on. What we're saying to you, we have that already standardized, and
Okay.
also you can move around with it. You cannot move around with a brick and mortar. Absolutely not possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that we have experienced. I mean, we've seen so many houses fall apart due to heavy rains and storms. So I think the container is the way to go now. Eh? It's the future. If
Yeah.
not, it won't happen.
it,
It is
it,
the future.
it,
Mm,
it, it just makes sense, Neo. It just makes sense. The houses we have right now, we're not saying that
yeah.
you can always have, it's not a problem, but all we're
Yeah.
saying to you is that if you want to be a sustainable living person or individual, the container
Yeah.
home is what makes logical sense. It's stronger, it's portable. If you want to move around, but if you want to stay in one area, you can still. There's one individual, one of our clients, might move perhaps after a couple of years to Swaziland, and she wanted to do a blend. So she wanted to be brick and mortar and a container home and create a modular home, eventually into a bigger home with different rooms and so forth. It's a big request. So what we recommended is that she look into using steel, because when you disassemble it, steel can be cut and you can move maybe 3 or 4 trucks to the area of destination that you want to do. It will come at an initial application cost. We know that it costs, but that's fine, because even moving right now, it does cost you, but now you're moving with your structure.
Home.
Yeah, with your home. So yeah, it's definitely just the way that the flexibility and knowing that
Mm,
you can move anywhere. Only thing that we have a big problem right now is land. We have big problems with that. We don't know nothing, and we can own the structure, but the land we don't. But you don't really have to, because the land ties you down. So
mm.
we're having those kind of conversations, and yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Whatever you feel is it's logical and makes sense for your circumstances.
So let's marry this topic to what our podcast is all about: mental health wellness.
Mm.
How does living a sustainable life and having a home like that affect your mental health wellness?
Yeah, it does. Purely because you are living a simple life. So
Mm.
when I say simple, we're not saying you're living cheap. You're living a life that is simple
Within the
enough that
means.
you can live
Yeah.
anywhere. You
Mm.
are not bound to a 20-year or 30-year interest rate. I was speaking to one of my dear friends, and he bought a house about 10, 15, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and he was paying 10,000 Rand on that house. Okay. Now, and he was happy about it. He was so excited he got a house. But now with the interest rates, he pays about 18,000 Rand a month. After a couple of
Yeah.
years, those people, come on, if you own a house, let's tell the truth. And you're stuck for the next 20 to 30 years on a bond.
Yeah.
Now, what
Unless you
does
get
that
a
make in
fixed
your
one.
mental health?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't own
True.
anything. Actually, it's still owned by a bank. But what we're saying to the people, we're
Mm.
saying to our clients, own the structure. You don't
Mm.
have to be tied down. We're gonna try and create. It's part of our business plan to create environments where you're gonna put these structures off, but own it. Let it become yours, and that does wonders your mental health. You always know you have something. I have a couple of containers, and I know that I own something. I'm where I was. It's sometimes you might rent, but you own something.
Mm.
And then and if you feel very confident about the area and the place, then eventually you're not forced. Buy that land if you want to buy that, and that's also good, because if you're owning an asset, that's one way. An asset like a structure like that, you are keeping your capital. So that's one thing for sure, that you will have peace of mind. And then if you want
Mm.
to expand, because many people think, oh no, I'm on a container, I stay in a container. They even talk that way, like, oh, I'm sorry, I just live in a container, and as if like that's a bad thing. No, you can actually extend the container. If you want to have another two bedrooms, add another 12 meter. If you want to add another bedroom, add another 6 meter. You can blend it up and make it a home eventually. But you can start off with a plan. But
Mm.
that will give you wonders for mental health. And I'm talking to people who don't own anything right now, but they own a beautiful car. But after 5 years, really, you
Depreciated. Mm.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's very stressful.
yeah.
Eddie's commenting there. Um, Eddie, welcome to the show. He says we're living here in the West Rand, mainly mining area, and there's always blast and shakes. As a result, houses do crack.
Mm.
So the comment, but I think we can also turn it into a question for you that having a container like that, how does it withstand? I guess it would, since they use it for carrying,
Uh,
stuff
yeah,
in the ship, in the oceans where there's turbulence and all of that.
yeah,
There's waves. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Eddie's got a very, very good question there. Eddie, what I could say to you is that it what we've done, and that's what the biggest cost is, using these dry products that we use. Because anyone can build a home, by the way. I'm sure people have tried it and they can do it. Oh no, I can figure it out. By all means, try it. What we have done, we've banged our head a few times where our structure, either it warps, the heat gets it, our insulation. And because most of the time, many people think that because I'm building a container home, I want to make it cheap. And the material that I'm using must be cheap material. But
Mm,
what we're saying to our we don't work with cheap material. We use Sikaflex. If people know the building industry, or yeah, we're using Sikaflex, which is a very strong, robust sort of like a glue that can move with the building. Because even if it's a building, it moves. Even a normal house, there's a little bit of movement that happens. So we
mm,
cater for that. It's costed us a while. We've done a few mistakes. Then we realize, oh, that is why, because we're trying to save. So
mm.
a container box homes are not cheap. They are affordable. If you're looking for a cheap option, please do not call us, because you will not get a cheap
Senzo,
option. You'll get something
we
that's
lost you.
affordable, and then you'll get return on investment on your system. So definitely, with what Eddie's saying, it does happen, but not in a container home. It's not like a brick and mortar.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a minute to go. I can't believe time flew like this. I didn't see even the time going. But we have two questions there. Katiso, I don't know Katiso. Senzo, she says, or he, I don't know Katiso is a female or male. Are you living in a container? And if so, how has that experience been for you thus far?
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm not living in a container. I have a container.
Mm,
I'm actually based in an area where I'm actually moving to. We're busy doing the building for it, because I want to live in my, what I could say, a little bit of a dream. We want to live in a bit of something that's going to make sense to our needs. And yeah, so we are building with that. We have the containers, but we are busy building on something like that. And we're also wanting to do showrooms. So that is something that we are trying to organize. It might take a bit of time, but we are trying so people can actually feel and touch. And then also we wanting to document our projects that we're doing. We call it showmanship, to show us cutting it, showing you going through the whole process, and also getting involved with the people who are transforming their lives. And they can do it on their own, or they can get a coach, like how you go to a gym. You can go there and do your stretch, and then you feel that you've done enough, and then go home. Or you can get someone who can help you accountable, a coach. And then they can help you
mm.
get to that point, to get what you want, because it needs a lot of mind shift. And
Yeah.
that's what we're busy with. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The last comment that we take in from Fanelo echoes what you just said there, Mindshift. He says the days of brick and mortar are expensive and slowly drifting away. Your innovation, now he's speaking to you, is certainly a way forward. Agree on cost containment, movable, and structural sound. You got this. That's what he says. But it requires a shift in mindset,
Yeah.
and I agree with that too, which we will overcome when we do, when you do your marketing and positioning yourself to move to the next level.
Yeah.
And thank you for mentioning that my platform is one of the platforms that can, help in doing that. Thank you, Mfanelo. Hopefully, this show would do the same for Mzini and what other?
Yeah. So our link is mzini.co.za. We're still
Yeah,
just making a few adjustments with our website, but you can get us on all through our link tree on Instagram mzini.co.za, and all
yeah.
our links are there as well.
Awesome. Just a closing remark. What can you tell? What can you conclude your presentation or this discussion that we have, Senzo,
Yeah.
about sustainable living?
Sorry, man, I lost you a little bit, but what I could say is that if on closing remark is that this
Mm,
is a movement, and
yeah.
we are happy that our peers, this generation right now, sees the logic behind of becoming sustainable, and we're happy. Please keep up with us. Go to our Instagram, follow us, and also go through the link, request the link, and also
Mm,
ask how can you join the movement with any of our
yeah.
website. Once I see your name, we will be able to help you there and see how we can keep. There's a lot of stuff in sustainability, but it's what we need. We're saying to you, we're not taking what the world tells us. We're only going to focus on our needs, and we're going to add on the options if we can afford it.
Thank you so much for the beautiful closing, and thank you, Katiso. I note your compliment there. We try our best to have insightful discussions such as this one that we're having today, and our discussion really, they cite to our mental health wellness. I mean, everything that we do affects how we think, how we feel. We want you to have a peaceful night's sleep, and we don't want you to be thinking about the bond that you need to be paying end of the month. So I'm for this. I really would like to have one container for myself to own, either for the living or for the studio. But it's something that I'm really considering. So thank you also for those that who commented on Telegram. We really appreciated your comments there. And Riverside, we enjoy engaging with you on topics like this. We do have these type of shows every Monday at 6:30. So we hopefully that we can see you back again next week for a different topic. Be on the lookout. If you know people that are not aware of our show, please share the link with them. We have a Telegram channel that they can join at any time. So when we start our show, it will send them a notification, so you never lose a show at all. And obviously, with Riverside, which is the platform, they can engage with us. The show is also recorded, will be made live on YouTube from Tuesday onwards, and all podcast platforms that you are using. If you're using Spotify, if you're using Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever podcast that you are using, Amazon, this show will also be there. So thank you for tuning in. And my name is Neo Morapedi, the host of NMP Talk Show. And this is how we're signing out. You need internet? You need